question is, because people are watching this and saying, look, I have to promote, and here I wrote this book and nobody knows about it, and even Amazon isn't exactly selling it all that well. So, and that's not their job. All they do is publish it. But so what do? You have these options. You can spend thousands of dollars and or not, or develop relationships with authors and people in your arena so that they continue to look upon you as a ready is very important, because sometimes on television I get called last minute, somebody dropped out, can you be there, but as a ready expert to provide for them what they need. And you know what, not to be crass or anything, but to be honest, the producers only need to fill a slot, and you are the slot filler. Whether you are a brilliant orator or a genius who wrote this book that will save lives, they don't care about.
Right.
Sorry to be so crass, but that's the reality of everything. And you are going to have to determine what it is you want, but also determine something even more important. How are you going to spend your money?
Good point. I think that a lot of people don't have a lot of money at the beginning. So
right, when you're beginning, you don't have anything.
And so I think learning teaches you a lot more than spending to be promoted. With that kind of falls into a hole somewhere.
Well, this is what my experience has been. You have these people who are repping you, who don't understand your product. Certainly nobody's going to understand your product as well as you do anyway, but they don't understand your product, and they don't have that emotional buy-in to your product that you do. And the best, when I wrote Amplify Your Media Presence, Amplify Your Brand, I was honest and truthful that you are your brand, and you are the best brand spokesperson than anybody else can be for your brand. So you know this so well.
I think, that brought up a guy who I had on my show recently who was a TED speaker, preparer. He had helped Susan Cain with her famous TED Talk. And I think getting a video, even if it's a TEDx or something like that, is great if you could do that at the beginning. But I think that any kind of brag reel that you can come up with, or what you can show, even if it's a trailer for your book or something else, to have a good video that you could pin at the top of Twitter or at the top of any place on LinkedIn. You can add a couple videos at your beginning of your profile. How do you feel about the importance of that? Because to me, I think that was one of the first things I started to work on, just to showcase, that I can speak, that I'm an expert, that I have, written things or whatever. It changes all the time what I think is good in these. And when I'm in this Speak and Spill group, I watch their different videos that some of these guys and gals have done. And it's so fun to see. Everybody's got a unique style, and there's no really right way to do it. I don't know. How do you feel about the brag?
No, that's interesting. I have never put a video at the top of my LinkedIn profile, but I'm going to look at yours and see.
It's not at the top. It's like you have your name and your face and all that stuff, and then you have your About You section, and then you can add videos to each of your jobs and different things that you have. So underneath, like my main thing, I have videos, and I think it's underneath each job. Like if I was when I was the MBA program chair at Forbes, I'll have videos of me speaking for Forbes. Or if I'm, at University Advancing Technology, I might have me speaking to the students there. Or, it just depends what, as my speaking, I would have more of my speaking kind of things. And so every time it'll highlight certain videos, like say you're on a TV appearance, you might want those right under the top part there, because people could go, oh, I wanted to see what she does in different videos. And I think those aren't really brag reels, but that I put up there. I just put up just my most recent video appearances and things like that, so people can kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about now.
I think that's a good idea. I think everybody now is expecting us on video before they even
Yeah.
further. They want to see if we have two heads, if we can conduct ourselves in a large group or even in a smaller group. They want to see how we come across. Because if they are paying us to come across for their company, they want to see how we've come across for other companies. And I think it's really important. Video is where it's at. And it's funny because when I got started, I was posting images of Gildagrams.
Mm-hmm.
You will never be loved if you can't risk being disliked. Or some of my really well-known Gildagrams. And they were okay. And I posted them on Instagram and Facebook mostly. And they were okay, but when I started posting videos, big difference.
Yeah, people really want this. I think it's really important to pin pin your best one on your YouTube at the top, pin your best one on your Twitter at the top, because people go to that. And I notice Facebook has more of that now, where they let you pin stuff to the top. I think people want to see kind of a preview, especially for people like me who have radio shows and are thinking about having you on. I'm going to go and I'm going to look for your videos. I'm going to try to find what your personality is like. And I'm also looking to see the kinds of things you like to talk about and how you answer things, of things that make you light up. I'm going to ask you those kinds of questions. And I could tell that if you have videos. And I think that if I have to go digging to find you, that's not a good thing.
No, it's like people are even too lazy to go click for an additional.
What surprises me the most is the people who have their own podcasts seem to be the worst at what they send me when they're on mine. And I'm like, you're kidding. Why didn't you send me that?
Every single day I get another invitation. Do you want to have your own podcast? How would you like to do this and this? And it'll only cost you this amount of money. And once again, I'm sorry. I've just been groomed in the non P2P world, so that I have a different philosophy of all this. I have been on every television show. I have been on every television network. I don't need to notch up. Here's another one. Here's another one. Here's another one.
A lot of people do.
But some people, from my perspective,
I'm with you.
I don't need. If I never do another one of these interview shows, it's okay, because I will have something even better for me to be doing. And
if somebody who hasn't had your experience and they're listening.
I understand that, but I also do not want my clients to run out of money.
Yeah.
And when they're deciding, okay, I'm going to plunk down, let's say I have a budget of $5,000. I'm going to plunk down all $5,000 in this one show. Why don't you ask instead, what is the reach of that show? What are the demos of that show? If you're trying to market to moms, young millennial moms, then the Today Show is not your outreach, because that has demos of women who are 40 to 60, for example.
But there's a perception involved in that, though. Even if you get, everybody wants to be on the big name shows, and so they think that they have this need for it, and that's great if you get on. But I think when you're looking at some of these podcasts and different things, if you're asking what the reach is, if you're new and you haven't really done anything, the reach is not as important to me as what you can do with it once you have the file, and once you have the link, and who can see it based on that.
It's even more than that. It's once you have the experience
right? That's huge
component. I mean, how many times I screwed up on air? I can't even begin to tell you. I mean, I have, but if I hadn't done those screw ups, I would never be where I am today with my knowledge and my ability and even my expertise in coaching other people so that they don't fall into the same traps that I did. I had nobody. I was just thrown onto air and I didn't know what I was doing.